My name is Mira. 3 months ago, I began a journey to peel away the clutter from my house. I've conquered a tower, I've climbed a mountain, I've sorted through bookcases, and today I'm going to wrap up the living room. I've got a few tasks to finish first, and we are starting with putting some DVDs that were out of their cases back into their cases. So that means I am going to have to go through all of the DVDs on my shelf to find the right ones. And I say go through all of them, but I have a little system of organization as far as putting them into genres and then alphabetizing. But, without fail, it sure seemed like every single one that I needed to put away was in the second row, so I'd have to move the first row's worth of stuff to get to it. And I'm going to admit that was kind of frustrating. So that just shows me in future that I maybe need to try and narrow down my DVDs even further if I can, when I can. But that is a issue for future Mira to worry about. This footage was filmed a few weeks ago, before things kind of fell apart. My beloved Cupid had kidney disease, and he recently passed away. I wasn't really sure how to do this voiceover, to be honest, but if we waited for me not to be emotional, you and I would both be waiting here quite a while. So my apologies if emotions make you a little uncomfortable or a lot uncomfortable. Go ahead and hit that mute button and just watch as I finish up some stuff. But in the meantime, I thought I might as well talk about how grief can affect decluttering. In my last video, I talked about how I had some good momentum going and it was just kind of carrying me through. And grief kind of brought it all to a screeching halt. I knew Cupid wasn't doing well. He stopped eating his regular food, was on a cheeseburger diet. I was hoping that maybe we could have a couple of day hospitalization, maybe with him on fluids 24/7. But the blood work told a different story. And at that point, I just dropped everything. I arranged to get some photos taken, and I just loved on him and spent time with him till the end. I came home from the vet and lifted my laptop to move it, tripped on the cord, and the laptop fell. I picked it up and realized that the screen was as shattered as my heart. Now, the screen can be replaced, but they weren't sure if it would be at the low end of their estimate or the high end. They'd have to send it out to find out. And I could do the low end, but the high end was pushing it. So instead, I just bought a monitor. So I've hooked it up to a monitor and we're back in business. As you can imagine, I had no interest in decluttering or doing anything with the house. But I did check in online and read your comments in the community. And I really, really appreciate it so much. You just have no idea how much you help me. I can't thank you enough. Grief is going to hit everyone differently. For me, I tend to curl up and hide, and that's pretty much what I did. I got up and out of bed to feed Clay and take care of him, but that was about it. I know there are other people out there who are grieving for reasons of their own. And I want to say to you that it's okay. It's okay if you need to hide away from the world for a while. It's okay if you get ragey. It's okay if you don't care about how clean or messy your house is. Sadly, no one can escape grief. It comes for all of us at some point or other. be kind to yourself when it comes. It's okay to be hurting and feel lost and not have energy or motivation for anything. I fluctuate between either sobbing or numbness. I would encourage you to reach out to people who love you. I found it helpful to use my emotions. When I would get angry, I would use that a bit. And I'll talk about that when we get to some later portions of the video. Let people help you and don't be judgmental of yourself. It's easy to lose yourself in sadness and sorrow. And I definitely did that and still do that and will probably continue to do that for a while. But as the days passed, I let myself wade out of that a little bit. I'm not saying I just one moment was like, okay, time to declutter again. Whee! But when I had moments where I thought, oh, this is kind of piling up, or oh, I see some clutter there, I would latch onto that moment and say, okay, just clean for 5 minutes. Just pick up the hamburger wrappers from the floor just for 5 minutes. And then I would do 5 minutes and I would go back to just being sad. So my suggestion is go ahead and use those fleeting thoughts if you can. If you can't, that's okay too. And again, just be super kind to yourself. All right, now I pulled out a bunch of wires here from that top shelf where they had been, and then I end up putting those in the bag, and that's from the previous video where I was sorting through cords. So you've already seen that footage, and my little Cupid was in that footage. Whew. But anyway, back to figuring out where things go. I did end up with, I don't know, half a dozen DVDs that I couldn't find a case for. And they're probably back in Mount Doom in the living room, or not the living room, in the laundry room. All right, moving on. I had some books that need to go out to the little library, so I took them out there. I like to have mostly kids' books on that bottom shelf. Reading brought me so much joy as a kid, and I would have loved if there was a little library in my neighborhood. So that's something that I wanted to do, and even though it's kind of dangerous considering how much I love stuff, as you know. But anyway, it's something I enjoy, and people have commented on how much they enjoy it too. Oh boy. Well, it was time to do some cleaning up here, and I'm going to tell you, I was still in desperate grief when I filmed this, and it's pretty clear because what kind of angle is this? Now, come on. Oh gosh, this angle. Have I learned nothing? This is the same stupid angle I used when I worked on this entryway. And you know, you just can't see through me. I have not become transparent. So, yeah. Flat surfaces are always a struggle for me. I just put stuff on them. But anyway, I had to move some stuff from that dog leash area. Cupid went to the vet 2 to 3 times a week, and I had a wine bag there that I put his fluids in. I didn't even get to make the joke to you guys that that having a house like mine could make someone drink, and so I kept the wine bag right in the living room. But I had to move that and Cupid's leash. into the little cubby. I'm not ready to toss those things, but I did need to have them not in immediate sight, so I put them in the little cubby there. And yeah, bad angles again. I would be honest with you, when I was starting to film on this particular day, I was like, I could not care less about this. I'm doing this because it needs to be done, but it didn't matter to me whether it was done or not. Like, I knew it needed to be done at some point, and I was like, well, okay, I'm here. There's some good light. Let's film. But I was either very numb, or there's one point where I got angry, and I'll talk about that too. And yeah, there's a little hamburger bag. So I've got my 2 little treat mats, and I left one there and moved one to the ottoman. It's a problem for future me, but present me just isn't ready to deal with that. Oh gosh. So one thing I discovered is that Cupid loved corn dogs. He was eating hamburgers for a week before I discovered that corn dogs were like this boy's love. It made me so happy to see how happy they made him. Now, several of you have been asking in the comments, how am I going to solve my water bottle issue? And I'm hoping that this is how. I found this, and I'm going to give it a try. Now that I see it, like, it looked bigger online. That's always the way it is, right? I mean, it had dimensions, but I still had something bigger in my head, and it arrived, and now I'm figuring out how to put it together. Yeah, you can see I got some flowers there from my niece. The sweet girl got me flowers after hearing about my curly Q. So now it's time to get this all set up. And yes, my inspector is still there inspecting. He's such a good boy. So patient with me while I've been stuck in this sadness. Oh, and I do want to mention that I moved my journals from the bottom right cubby there, and I've put some YouTube equipment there. Who knew this was going to turn into a thing and I would need equipment, and so I've got some mini tripods and selfie sticks and some bags there too. This took more time than it should have, but you know, grief brain makes you a bit foggy. I know I'm not the only one. So there is that. We're going to give this a try, and I will report in and let you know. I also thought, well, let's go ahead and put something in there for my remotes. So now my remote controls have a home, and so do the empty water bottles. This is actually the first footage that I filmed after. And I was really numb at this point. I didn't actually care. Oh, I had no cares in me whatsoever. But I kept thinking, oh, you need to get back to this. So I was just like, I guess I'm just gonna fake it till I make it. And I figured I would just do what I could and then stop if I needed to. I am moving a bit slower than before. This is partly because, again, not caring. And also because when you've been kind of stationary for a while, you take a little bit, I take a little bit to get back to moving again. I can tell that by the front and the back door, I am going to have to do more sweeping, of course, because, you bring stuff in either way you go out. Then I looked down at this light and got pretty mad. It is a motion activated light, and it's there so that Clay can see when he needs to get out in the middle of the night. And as he approaches the door, the light goes on. But yeah, the adhesive wasn't very good at staying on. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stick one thing of adhesive on it. I am going to plaster the whole back of it with these adhesive dots. And we are going to get this thing to stick on the stupid wall. But let's be real. This was kind of annoying to have to do this, but I wasn't mad because of the light. I was mad because my boy was gone. But plastering the dots all over the back of it and then using my foot to hold the light in place did work. And it has not fallen down since then. So I'm very happy about that. And now let's do a bit of mopping, and that will finish up this area. Now, I did do a little bit of Black Friday shopping. There were some things that I knew I needed, and so I set aside some money for that. One of those things was a fresh new set of stairs so that Clay can get up onto the couch. I had some others, but I decided to give these a try because they were on a very good sale, and I thought, why not? But boy howdy, do I struggle with this. I was like, I'm not sure where the instructions to put this together are, and I'm sure I can do just fine. Well, I probably should have looked a little bit for those instructions because, yeah, it was kind of challenging. I ended up needing to remove these wood boards that were the top of the steps. So I had to remove those, and then I managed to squeeze squeeze the foam squeeze that onto the foam. And then I tried to put the boards in, and then and then I couldn't figure out where the board went. One board was obvious, but the other one I got lost again, and so yeah, I struggled with this. I was determined though, so eventually I figured it out. Now you can see that there's a little fluffy thing on the back of the love seat there, and that was a dog bed. That was another purchase for Black Friday. Clay will often sit next to me, but sometimes he likes to be his own man, be his own little man, and venture out onto something else. So he does love to have a pillow. He is also really fond of when he gets a treat, he'll take it back to his pillow, and I would call it taking it to his lair. Oh, so cute. But he did not really have much of a lair, sadly, in all of the clutter. But now that we have open space again, I thought, why not bring back his lair and let him have that spot if he wants it? I had a round pillow that is about his size that he really likes, but I bought the wrong stuffing for it, and so the stuffing is about as tall as he is, and he is intimidated by it. So I think I need to wait for it to kind of settle down a little bit. But I had another round pillow, But it was a little bit bigger, and so I thought maybe not. It's been around for a while, so I'm probably going to retire that one, and we will let him have this one, which is orthopedic. It did come vacuum packed, so I had fluffed it up here, and then it said to just leave it out, for 24 to 72 hours so that it can expand back to its normal size, its normal height, I guess. And look at me, I am still wrestling with the start thing. Oh dear, yeah. It's fun to laugh about later, but while you're doing it, it's such a struggle. But I finally did it. Yay, finally. So, success. Now I am putting it down, and I'm like, wait, we need to do a little bit more sweeping here. So let's do that. And I realize it's a lot lighter than everything else, but oh well, it's okay. It'll all be good. We've now reached the moment that everyone has been waiting for. Here is the before of my living room. 3 months ago, my living room looked like this. And you can see my little Cupid there. Oh, so cozy. I had my little trails. Sad little trails. You can see all of my different piles on each side of the TV. Both bookcases. There's the tower. And the entryway where I started. Here. Whew. It's surreal to look back on this now. That's a lot of work done. It's a lot of work I did. Let's take a look at it today. Space. Blessed space. I love it. I love it. It makes me really happy. It's not perfect. I don't know of the best place to put that cart, but it is on wheels, so I can just move it around as needed. My TV area. You can see Clay in the background. And the bookcase on this side. Looking pretty good. And I'm going to just kind of do a little survey of the whole room again. Those flowers from my niece. I got a card from a friend. My entryway, my new water bottle solution. Fingers crossed. And you can see the other bookcase looks pretty good too. And I'm gonna back into the hallway so you can, and look, my baby, my baby likes his new stairs. He gets along just fine with them. And here is a wider perspective of the room. I started this journey for me, and I started it to make a better life and living space for me and for Cupid and Clay. I miss Cupid so much, but I'm really glad that Clay and I can enjoy this now, and I'm really glad that you all joined me on this journey. So here are some stats for you. You can see I've done a lot of work. And next time we will move into the kitchen and the Great Pyramid. There's more to be done.